All right, let's try this again. Guys, how am I looking? Y'all tell me am I up, man, or am I looking like the Rockets tonight? Okay, because all right, let me see. Looks better on my end. Y'all let me know in the chat. Shout out to y'all, man. Late night, Friday night. You ain't got nothing to do. You ain't got no job. You know what I mean? You ain't got nothing to do. So why not talk about a little bit of Rockets misery? Because we just got dominated by the Minnesota Timberwolves in a game where I thought we were gonna lose. But what really was disappointing for me is the manner in which the Rockets actually lost, right? So that's really what I wanted to talk about tonight. I wasn't even gonna do a thing because Space ain't feeling good. So shout out to Space. Y'all keep that boy in his prayer, let him get better. He ain't feeling good. I'm like, man, it's Friday, it's late. Ain't really nothing much to talk about. But the more I stewed on the game, the more I just had to get some stuff off my chest because this is watching the way we lost. I wasn't surprised that we lost, but the helplessness in which the Rockets play with was a bit disappointing. And for a team, if you guys don't follow the Timberwolves, they have been struggling offensively. Timberwolves been struggling. They have been a team that is elite defensively, but they struggle to generate points. A lot of that, obviously, having two big men, Rudy Gobert, it does become an issue sometimes with the spacing. You look at their lineups. Obviously, Ann is a demon. Cat is one of the most efficient bigs in the league, and they got guys that could score. Conley's been struggling, but most of the time they struggle. But the Rockets basically had them looking like the 2018 Warriors with Kevin Durant out there because of simply roster construction. There's a lot of blame to go around for this game. I mean, you look at some of the let me check out the box scores here. Let's see. Okay, so I think the turnovers were an issue. We had Jabari had 4 turnovers, which is uncharacteristic of him. Jabari usually not a guy that has the opportunity to even turn the ball over. But one thing about this Minnesota defense is that they are very, very aggressive, very, very aggressive, very. They play. I'm gonna steal a Mike D'Antoni term. They play with a lot of force, and our energy wasn't up for that. And you could tell with our players being young, not used to this level of defense. This is playoff defense, and you got to know when to ramp it up. And what's also disappointing is our veterans also didn't meet them with their force. Jabari had 4 turnovers. Shangun had 2 turnovers, which is kind of normal for him. Jalen Green 2 turnovers, which is normal for him. Fred had 1. Amen had 2. Cam Whitmore had 4. Oh my God, Cam Whitmore started the game playing as bad as people thought Cam would be if he played, right? I guess he looked like what people were afraid of in this game. And you could really see the discrepancy between where a rookie is, especially with him and the men, and then where guys like, Mike Conley and Rudy go, like those vets. And that's really, really kind of the difference there. But 15 turnovers, I think they started doing better towards the end of the game, but you can't turn the ball over against a good defense. They're going to capitalize on it, and they did. The Wolves scored off of our turnovers, but just the manner in which we played, the energy was okay to start the game, but they just dominated us. And I made a tweet saying that this was a Rafael Stone loss. This loss is not on any one player, even though we turned the ball over. The Rockets, they shot 37% from three, 40, 40 from the field. Obviously, that's not good. We couldn't do anything on the interior. But this is a Rafael Stone loss because the team is terribly constructed, right? And I've been saying this since the summer. Jack Landale was never going to be a solution as the backup big. He was never going to be a solution there. And people are saying, well, at least no, it's not at least. If Tari and Dylan Brooks played, it would have been a more competitive game, but we had no choice. We had no choice, right? If you guys watch this game, what was the attack? Y'all let me know in the chat what y'all saw what the attack of the Timberwolves was. Get your big man on our wings and guards, right? So every single play, there was a mismatch on the court. Sometimes it was 2 or 3 mismatches. You can't win like that. You cannot win like that when you got Cat on Jabari basically just walking to the basket with Jabari there. You got Anthony Edwards cooking Jayshawn Tate. But even though Ant had a good game, let me see how many points he had. His points were really quiet. You know what I mean? He had what? And only had 24. Like, bro, 24 points. A quiet 24 points. So he wasn't even hurting us that much to start the game, and he stat padded a lot, like towards the end of the game when we had our backups and him and the starters were playing. So there's a lot of stat padding going on. But you look at our roster that we field on the court, even if Dylan was playing, even if Tari was playing, you look at that roster right there. We're just too small, bro. We're too small. Let's say Shangun, he matches up with Rudy Gobert. Whoever we had put on the other person, whether it's Cat, whether it's Nas Reed, it was just a mismatch. And whenever you have that many mismatches, both on your starters and on the bench, you do not have a chance. Because what's going to happen is that they're going to hunt those mismatches and they're going to force you to have to help. And when you help, whether it was Jalen helping, whether it was Alp helping, whether whoever was helping, they're going to kick it out, kick, pass, open three. I mean, they shot 35 three-pointers, 33 three-point attempts, which is 2 over their season average. Shot 42% from 3. Most of them were wide ass open. So this is just really a picture of where the Rockets need to go as a team. Like, if you wanted to see like where we need to match up against some of these other elite teams, this is what it is. And you look at, the type of teams that play with two big men or just have big front courts. We're not going to match up with them. And there's two things. I said this a while back. Either Jabari has to improve a lot more as a weak side rim protector, and he has to get bigger. Like, I love the yoga, Jabari, but bro, lock yourself in the weight room this summer, bro. You can't be you getting pushed around, dog. And I know he's young, so we expect that, but he gotta get a little stronger. You got to get a little stronger. You got to be able to play that forward because Jabari can't guard most of the power forwards in the NBA, and not even the big ones. I'm just talking about just regular power forwards back him down. So that's an issue for us right now is with that defense. He just needs to get stronger because we're so reliant on him playing that position. If I had my way, right, if this was a game that you needed to match up really well with, if I had a backup center, I would have went Twin Towers too. Or if you're not going to go Twin Towers, the other opposite side of games like this is that you have to be able to take advantages of them being big. And for them, they were playing the drop coverage of Rudy Gobert, and the Rockets couldn't take advantage of that because the other glaring issue on this roster is that we cannot shoot. We cannot shoot to save our lives. No, none of our players were able to just like you seen the play. So I'm gonna describe. Y'all seen this all night. Shangun gets a post up or Shangun drives on a pick and roll, gets in the paint. They collapse on the paint. The man that comes to help comes down to help, kick out, and guess who he's kicking it out to? Jayshawn Tate. Jayshawn Tate, man. That's Jayshawn Tate. Or it's Tari Eason. Or it's even Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks is one of our better shooters, but I just want one guy on the roster that the defense has to just die. Like if they can't come off of them. Because that guy is not Jabari. It's not Tari. It's not Fred. We just need one just stone cold shooter that you can put out there and say, I dare you to try to help out. And if the worst case scenario that we get out of that, right? If the worst case scenario that we get out of that is a kick out to Jabari Smith, a kick out to Fred Van Vliet, because you can't come off the guy I'm talking about, whoever this is. If the worst case scenario is that you get a kick out to a 38% shooter or a 40% shooter, then that's when we start cooking. But as we're built right now, teams like this, teams like Cleveland, teams like the Bucks, who we have to face tomorrow, teams like obviously Minnesota, the Lakers, they're going to give us a lot of issues. You know what I mean? There's a couple of teams that just have really big front courts that we cannot match up against. It's hard to overcome Shangun being a undersized big man as far as height and rebounding, with Jabari being undersized as far as strength and girth. So it's like we're double shot there. Then you compound that with when you go to the bench, you're bringing in Jeff Green to play the backup five because Jock Landale is unplayable at this point. So it's like we're just putting it together, man. Right now, the Rockets are overperforming what they're supposed to be. A lot of it is smoke and mirrors. is smoke and mirrors. And Lord forbid, oh my, if Fred or Shangun go down, yeah, it's what the old folks say, sayonara. It's sayonara for the season. Sayonara for the season, because right now that's pretty much what's keeping us going. But that is just something that I've pointed out the whole entire year. Obviously, this has nothing to do with the outlook of the team, but it is something that I think it's important that Stone has to address as we approach the trade deadline. Because if he does not, then he'd be wasting a season. And I'm not in the business of wasting seasons. And this takes me to my next point that I wanted to make tonight, about what should the Rockets really try to do with their time, right? This year. Some people, I've heard people suggest that this year doesn't matter, which is dumb. That's the dumbest thing. Like, every year matters in sports. This is the same attitude that people took throughout our rebuild that has Jalen Green cooked right now, because they were saying, oh man, it doesn't matter. We're just tanking. Like, bro, I keep telling y'all, this is not 2K. This is real life, right? These are human beings. Time matters, experiences matter. You're seeing this happen with Cade Cunningham. He had an interview with Woj, talking about how much this losing is impacting. These things scar people. And I'm not talking about this year. I'm just talking about the process of getting to where you're going as a basketball team. You have to be intentional about every single thing you do. There are no wasted years. As you tank, like OKC did, like other teams tank, but you still have to be intentional about development. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because this year matters in the sense of it's part of the development of our players. So you cannot just say, oh, well, let's just throw out whatever team is out there and just cross our fingers and hope to win. I had said this in my last video about what's his name said, CJ Stroud said from the Houston Texans. And that dude, love him, man. Shout out to CJ Stroud. Dude's a dog. But he said the time is now, bro. There's not next year. It's not 2 years from now. Every time you have an opportunity to, whether you're going to lace them up for basketball, football, hockey, whatever sport you play, you have to put yourself in position to have a shot. For the Rockets, not to win a title, but whatever your your end goal is, you have to give yourself the best chance to be able to reach that goal. They have stated clearly their goal is to make it to the playoffs. The ownership has said that. The general manager has said that. The coach has come out and said that. The players are saying that. And so for Rafael Stone, this is going to be a test for him to be able to put together a roster that is able to get this team not only to the playoffs, but maybe sneak in a series. Maybe you can get lucky. Maybe you can get into the playoffs. Maybe you can get to the second round. But I think we have enough talent on the team to be able to do that. But if you look at the roster we're currently fielding right now, let's go through our roster, bro. I'm looking at NBA.com. Jayshawn Tate, our starting small forward with Dylan Brooks and Tari Eason out, should not be playing. Jayshawn Tate is damn near unplayable at this point. This dude is getting beat on offense, getting beat on defense. He's undersized. He's playing over his head, right? So he's a guy that you have pushed to a position of prominence. When Dylan and Tari are playing, Jayshawn Tate still plays a role on our team. That guy should not be playing. Why are we infatuated with him, right? Jabari Smith Jr. has been playing well. Streaky off and on, but he's been playing well overall. The defense still needs work. Obviously, he has issues in the post with all sorts of different types of players. But, he's going to be there. Jabari's young and learning, so he's there. Alperen Sengun, our best player on the team, he is doing his thing. Playing above what anything expected. Jalen Green has been underperforming this year. He's going to take time to get there. So I've already pointed out two players that are kind of, Fred VanVleet, he's been playing great despite, some of the late game CTE episodes he has. Aman Thompson is damn near like a newborn rookie. He's sometimes your second or third guy off the bench that plays the most minutes. Aaron Holiday shouldn't be in the NBA playing minutes as he is right now. Aaron Holiday is a break in case of emergency type of guy. That means if your backup point guard goes down, that's when you call in Aaron Holiday. He's playing too big of a role. Cam Whitmore, not ready for the big stage, in my opinion. Not in the level that you would see that he's going to be playing 20-something minutes. I think he's good in spot minutes. Jeff Green is supposed to be retiring on the job, bro. This man came here to slap guys on the butts and clap his hands, bro. We got him playing like he in year 5. Reggie Bullock, unplayable. Jock Landale, unplayable. Boban, unplayable. You got 5 unplayable guys on your roster. 2 guys that are playing serious minutes that shouldn't be playing. A bunch of young dudes, and one borderline star player. You got a solid point guard, and Tari and Dylan Brooks are both pretty elite wings. Like, that's not a roster that you say that you're supposed to just, hey, we're gonna make the playoffs. So Rafael Stone, brother, we need to get serious. We need to get serious. We need to get serious. This is not a team that you're gonna say, oh, I'm not gonna do much. You need to do some, because I feel like progression for teams is not linear. We can't assume that there's this staircase to contendership that the Rockets are just going to take just because we're having a better year this season, bro. Y'all watch the NBA. Y'all seen it. There are teams that will have a burst year and then crash out. There are teams that get to a point where they peak, and their peak is the play-in, New Orleans, and then they're just right there for 3 or 4 years. You don't take any single season for granted. Right? Once you have a viable, and this is what's plaguing San Antonio right now. San Antonio is trying to throw away this season, and it's going to impact Wemby's decision making down the line. You feel me? Like, you can't, once you have a player that is somebody that is a great player, and you have some decent players around them. I'm not saying trade the farm. We don't have to make any franchise defining moves right now. But damn, bro, give us at least 8 NBA players. Right? Give our young guys a chance to actually compete without having to play like all-star, all-NBA players every night to survive. We are expecting Jalen Green and Şengün to average 30 points at 21 years old for us to win these damn games. That's not realistic, bro. That is not realistic. That's not a method. And the reason right now that we are in the position we are, where we're doing so good right now, is largely due to overperformance in Alperen Şengün, Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks, veteran leadership, and Coach Udoka, right? Coach Udoka. And 2 out of 3 of those were forethought by Rafael Stone. One of those was not, right? Alperen Şengün's play is, to me, apart from what the Rockets have done, they've mismanaged that dude his whole career in Houston. So he is just a anomaly for them, something that happened outside of what their plans were. And it is a big Band-Aid over what the Rockets need to be focusing on, which is actually building a proper roster and having ways to take advantage of the skill sets of their players. If you step back and look at what our team, even with, one of the arguments is, well, KPJ would have been here. And this is the one I hate the most. How did Stone know Jock Landale would be bad? Like, bro, he's a general manager. How many GMs? How does Rob Pelinka not know Russ would be like, bro? What does that even mean? That means if a GM signs a player and they're bad, it's not their fault. Yes, it is, bro. You're the GM. You signed that player. That excuse would, if it was an applicable excuse, it would work for every single GM in the NBA. Oh man, I made this bad signing. How did I know? How did I know Ben Simmons was going to be bad? Like, bro, I mean, that's not an excuse. Landale, I told you guys, he's a 3rd or 4th center at best. You know what I mean? The whole Phoenix thing was cap, right? He's a player that you bring in for hustle and, just to give you spot minutes here and there. But, you know what I mean? He's not somebody you rely on. And I believe in my whole heart to this day, that was a panic move by the Rockets after the Lopez deal fell through. And they just kind of wanted to fill salary. So that to me was a kind of a miss on their end. The Kevin Porter Jr. thing, KPJ would have helped, but who do y'all think Kevin Porter was? We seen what he did. Dude, y'all, like, he would have helped a lot with some of the stuff, but dude was terrible on defense and he had terrible shot selection. So to me, that wasn't enough. I just don't think there was enough forethought on this team, because I don't know if they actually evaluated what they actually had. I think coming into this year, they thought Jalen Green would be, Mr. All-World, and that was the site, and that's what they were going for, Jalen and the vets. And then, if Şengün helps, he helps. If Jabari helps, he helps. Come to find out, the best players that you actually had are your big men in Şengün and Jabari. Those are the ones that are trending up while Jalen is still struggling. So I think misassessment. I'm still waiting for our GM to field a competent roster. I haven't seen it. I have not seen it since the tanking excuse is cool, right? You can tank and you can put together teams that are literally just terrible. Like some of the rosters we've dealt with over the past few years have been bad. I love the team we have now, but it's a house of cards. If one of our key players goes out, we are just in the bottom. So we need to see what Stone has to do. I do not want this. If the Rockets don't at least get in the playing game, this season is an utter failure at this point. You've seen what Şengün is doing on a night-to-night basis. You can take incremental steps to adding stuff to help the team. Now, it's too early to do anything now. Everything I'm saying is how do we get here? But now that we're here, like you got to wait to see what the market shakes out. There's a lot of rumblings about teams like, Atlanta says everybody is on the market that they could sell off except Trae Young and Jalen. I think his name is Jalen Johnson. I love that kid. You got Toronto is a team that's going to be active in trades. Obviously, Utah is going to be active in trades. Brooklyn may be active in the trade market. Detroit may be active in the trade market. Orlando may be active in the trade market. So there's a lot of sellers in this market coming up this year. Now, the question is, what do the Rockets actually need, right? What do they need? They need, first and foremost, I think we just need a backup big man. We need a real center, a real NBA center that can either play next to or behind Alperen Şengün. And in certain games, he may have to play in place of Alperen Şengün when Şengün tripping. Right? So that is something that we need like right now. We cannot compete at the level we want to compete at. Like our hands are tied, bro. Like you cannot go from if Şengün's on the court, everything's wonderful to falling off the face of the earth. Like I'm tired of holding my breath for Jock Landale. So I think that's something we need. Another thing that we need is we need shooting on the team. And you can address shooting in multiple ways. It could be done via having a point guard, like a backup guard that is a floor spacer as well. Just a Fred VanVleet type archetype. You can go get another wing that's just a shooter. I would prefer there's not a lot of guys like this that are just available in the NBA, which is the KCPs, like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, the movement shooter. I need guys that can come off screens and shoot. None of our guys are doing that. I think Fred is capable a little bit, but he is still a dribble guy, like likes to dribble and get into the rhythm of his shot. I need just a stone cold shooter that just flies off screens, a Garrison Matthews, but actually good. Like we need better shooters on the team because right now, Alperen Şengün, Jabari, even Jalen, our guys are playing in a very tight, confined spaces. When I watch Şengün operate in the positions he does, he's always double or triple team. When he rolls to the basket, it's three people there waiting for him, right? When you see other players roll to the basket, other big men, it's just one-on-one. Usually for us, there's nobody there waiting on them. It's hard to really assess how good Alperen Şengün is offensively without having shooting and a point guard that's actually a threat to get to the basket and shoot off a screen. As good as Fred is, Fred has his limitations. And I think him not being able to do anything at the basket makes it easier for defenses to guard our pick and roll attack as good as it is. So even as amazing as Şengün has been playing over these stretch of games, going on 10, 11 games now, I don't even know how good he is. Because what I mean by that, you think of some of the counterparts that he has to be compared to. You look at Sabonis. Sabonis has De'Aaron Fox. Their two-man game is lopsided towards Fox being the more deadly threat for that two-man game. Fox is averaging over 30 points per game, bro. That's 30. Like Fox is averaging 30 points per game. Then you look at Jokic, he got Jamal Murray. Y'all seen what Jamal was doing to the Warriors? You know how much pressure that puts on a defense when your pick and roll attack or your dribble handoff attack is a two-headed monster with guys that can get to the rim. They can dribble off you. They can pull up and shoot. They can come off and shoot the three. It's too lopsided right now, and teams are overselling to stop the roll. And then the worst part of all this, as bad as that sounds, because I think him and Fred have a great pairing. The worst part, I'm gonna circle back to this. We kicking the ball out to Jae'Sean Tate, bro. That's the worst part. We kicking the ball out to Jay Sean Tate. You're gonna draw 3, 4 bodies in the paint and kick the ball out to Jay Sean Tate, my lord. So we got some work. We got some work. But just overall from the game, before I start letting people up, yeah, the game was what I mean, we were gonna lose. Like I said, they dominated. We couldn't help out enough. I think Jay Sean Tate had one of the worst games I've seen him play in his career. I don't want to pick on him, but I feel like he's been put out like he's playing in a position that he's not meant to be played in, and it's really highlighting a lot of his weaknesses. You're putting him at POA defender against some of the best athletes in the NBA, and he's fouling and he's getting cooked. He's not rotating well on defense anymore, and the rebounding isn't there. And then you're using him as your corner spacer, which is you might as well give the ball. If you go and kick out to Jay Sean Tate for a three, bro, you might as well just take the ball and just hand it over to the other team, bro. You might just get the ball across half court and just say, "Here you go, brother. Thanks." It's just not working, and I don't know what Udoka is doing, but I guess this game he had no choice. But there are games where Tari's healthy and he doesn't play. He'll play Tate. I really just don't get it. I know he's a coach's guy. He's probably a guy that's going to hustle all the time, but I don't get it, man. There's a lot of Jay Sean Tate, a lot of Jay Sean Tate. So yeah, we just have to be better. I'm gonna put the link out in the chat. If anybody wants to come up and talk, man, I need somebody to bounce some ideas off with. So y'all come up, give me your trade ideas. Give me your what you thought about the game. Link in the chat. Hold on, let me see. Let me open up the chat overlay, see who's in the house. I'm not as good at space with the DJing the room, bro. I really suck at it. So shout out to everybody in the room. I should have done that from the start. But yeah, we got ringleader in the house. What up, bro?
Hey, what up, bro?
Chilling,
Tough,
man.
tough,
What you thought, man? What you thought about my
tough,
rant?
tough, tough law. We looked at real mediocre out there today, man. It's like I don't know if we got our coach or what, but that Jay Sean Tate, man, like you keep saying, man, it's just like he just I don't know, man. He don't even deserve no minutes, man. It's just like they I don't know what they doing. I'm starting to think they just using him for try to get him some value, try to get something for him in the package deal because like you said, it was like the worst game. He's too small. He can't hold nobody. He ain't no good rebound. He just a good basketball player that can go to the park in the hood and cook. He can't do it. He ain't good enough for us, bro. He ain't gonna be able to help us, bro. We need to go on, make a move, and I'm talking about a move this summer before this for the All Star after All Star. We need to know we need to go and make a move, man. After All Star, man. I don't know what we're gonna do, but
Yeah, I think that with the Tate thing, I don't think it's about them trying to sell him. Like I think I said this last time. NBA teams, they know like what's up, bro. They know when to do like because these coaches they scout all our players, so they know they even print out scouting reports for different players and what they're weak. So it is to me, you can overplay a player where you actually hurt them by presenting all their weaknesses in front of everybody to see. Right. And so I just think that Coach Adoka got to take some of the blame too, because I feel like he loses a lot of the games with the lineups that he leaves out there too long, or he'll sit certain guys when they're hot, or he'll like leave guys in that are hurting us. I would have pulled Tate after like, oh, bro, you can't guard and get
hey,
him off the court.
you seen that I think that after that time out they ran a play for Jason Tate like in the post and kicked it out to him at the wing for him to hit the three and he missed. You seen that play?
Yeah, yeah, that's
And I
one of the
was
plays
like,
I looked at. I
I
was
looked at
like,
that, I was like, hold on. That should have been Jabbar or somebody. Why they running plays for him? He ain't no shooter. And that what really like made me think like, yeah, it's a wrap, bro. It's like, man, them ups and downs gonna kill us, but man,
you know what it is, bro. It's we do this too as a defense. The good defenses in the NBA, they force you to make the Tates shoot the threes. So I don't think it was accidental that Tate was like forced to take a lot of like bailout threes for us. We do that to teams. We make Josh Giddey got to hit six threes or take six threes in a game. That's what a good defense do, and that's what they plan for when you have certain guys on the court. Is that we're gonna help off of this guy. So they cheating off of Tate, damn near in the paint. It's hard to operate, man. Let me see. I'm a, before we got Uzman up here. Before let me look at some here. Like, yeah, that lineup with Tate on the court is better now, but it's one of the few high usage lineups that we have that's a negative, bro. Like it's just a negative. Like it's 34th percentile in differential. Our regular starting lineup is in the 65th percentile. That lineup is a -2 on the court. Our regular starting lineup is a +8 on the court. So we're losing every game that Jayshawn Tate starts. We're losing these damn minutes that he's on the court, bro. And this is in damn near 200 possessions. So it's a losing lineup, and every time you see it, we're gonna lose. That's it pretty much. Like it got to take one of our young dudes dropping 30 points or somebody going off crazy for us to win. If y'all remember when we cooking, bro, it's like, yeah, you might have a guy go for 20 something or something like that, but you got to get multiple players to chip in and stuff like that. And it's just really hard when a guy can't shoot, can't rebound, can't guard, fouls a lot to really win games. It's just it is what it is with that. But let me get Uzman. What's good, bro? What you thought about the game?
Yo, what's good? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I didn't watch the whole game, honestly. I was gonna watch the game, but I saw the fourth quarter score and it was like a 20-point blowout, and I was just trying to figure out what happened. Um, but with Tate, I don't know. I feel like he he was good in the beginning of the season in terms of just the hustle and just like the winning plays he would have sometimes, but it's just the fact that he can't shoot and he's almost 30 years old that's been kind of killing us for a couple years now. And I feel like he was a stone guy. Like he got him from, I don't know where, like Belgium or wherever he came from. But um, I don't think he wants to get rid of him. Maybe they're up trying to up his trade value because I know like his contract is a tradable asset, isn't it? Like him and Lawndale. So I don't know. I feel like we have to make some type of moves though. It sucks, like you were saying, they have to overperform. Like the young players, like you said, they're 2021. You have to have them have great games for us to even, not for us to win every game, but for the most part, because like you said, five of our players on the team are non-NBA players for the most part. Like it's sad. We just need, I don't know how the trades are gonna work, or whatever, but if he doesn't do anything, Stone, if he doesn't get anything done, I mean, he's got to go. So it might be a blessing in disguise if he doesn't do something. But I'm not trying to see another wasted season. It's been way too many of those. It's been 3 years of that. Like, and he's got the excuse, like you said, with the tanking. But I mean, the lineups that we had, like playing out there with like just straight nobodies for so long, he was just getting away with it. It's like, nah, there had to be a better way. I'm glad we got all of our players now, and I'm happy about that. Like, we have a crazy young core if you think about it. And in a motion offense, they're perfect for like everyone on paper should be able to fit that. But for right now, before they can reach that ceiling, we have to give them some more crutches, some more training wheels, like you said. Like damn, like we can't have them depending on Tay for kick out threes and everything like that. But that's my piece.
No, that's a great point. And Tate's contract 6.5 million, and then 7 next year. He's a team option next year, so he's a basically an expiring contract. So yeah, he is tradable. Jock Landale, 8 million. So that gets you to what? That's 8 plus 6. That's 14 million, 14.5 between the two of them. If you throw in, let's see, we ain't got too many other. Victor Oladipo, so 14. He's 9.4. So roughly about 24 million dollars to really use on players. I'm not sure who else they would consider trading. Jeff Green is 9.6. If you throw him in there, that gets you in the 30s. but then you run the risk of not meeting your player threshold. I think we actually need Jeff's play. So I'm thinking probably Victor Oladipo and maybe Tate and somebody else would be ringleader. Mute your mic is giving me feedback when I'm talking. Then when you want to talk, you can unmute. But it's I mean, there's some moves to make. There's a lot of moves that they can make. I think what we're approaching right now is the first time we actually get to see Rafael Stone get to perform on the big stage because once again, like we've seen our young players play. We've seen Coach Udoka has showed his stuff and what he what he can do. We know what he can do. We don't know what Stone can do because once again, he's been hiding under the guise of the rebuild. Not like it's a bad thing, but we haven't had a chance to assess him. So as this deadline comes in from the previous deadlines, not being the greatest, right? Not being the greatest. If you gave them truth serum and said with your 60 plus $1 million in cap space, is this what you expected the team you'd have built? I bet you they would have said nah because what they wanted Brooke Lopez first of all, and I'm not sure what their price points on the players that they got, but they really looked like a team that had a lot of money to spend and didn't have time to find the players they wanted, so they just gave it to the Jock Londales of the world, the Jeff Greens of the world. There's no world where any team outside the Rockets is giving Jock $8 million. Like that does not make sense when there's players like Malik Beasley and all these players that are starting on contenders actually making like the vet minimum. So you kind of it does beg the question on that, but it's I'm just curious to really see what this dude is gonna do this deadline to because he already said they're not gonna do much, but I think to me that's almost unacceptable at this point because once again we have about 4 or 5 guys that are unplayable. You know what I mean? That literally just unplayable. We just don't have players that you can say like Aaron Holiday is getting real NBA minutes. This dude was out of the rotation in Atlanta. He was not playing.
Facts.
You feel me? So like we can't get away with that, bro. Like don't I'm not gonna wait. I don't want to wait. Like I don't want to wait for because like I said, development and all this stuff isn't linear. We can't just kick back and say, yeah, all right, Alp is good this year. He's going to be better next year. Jalen's going to be better next year. Jabari's going to be better. All it takes is one injury. All it takes is one leaked video of some domestic abuse or some weird stuff happening. A guy's suspended, a guy's hurt for the year, and your season's done. And then, okay, now it's been 2 years. And the next season comes, you got to ramp up. The coach gets fired. Like there's so many factors that go into a team's success that you don't have the luxury of just chilling and just kicking the can down the road. So what you have to do is take steps forward. To me, if they just stand packed with this team, they're not doing anything. They're just standing there. You have to take, even if it's a small, short step, you got to take a step forward in some direction. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. You know what? I think a lot of their contracts that they offer like Jock Landale and it got something to do with they had what I think with Raphael Stone. I think he got too much. He invested so much, and now he's trying to get himself out of a hole. And it's like he really was preying on Jalen, man. It's like they was preying on Jalen to be this savior for him. You know what I'm saying? And now it's like we chasing our tails, trying to become a contender, and at the same time trying to prolong Jalen's his growth. And it's like now it's like it just like now we got a bunch of contracts that we need to just get rid of so we could try to get somebody that can help us compete. Cause Jalen ain't become that man that we would think he could be. So now it's like all the other contracts, it look bad on them because now even though Jock Landale ain't performing at his what we really ain't expect too much out of him, and a lot of people ain't performing because we relying on Shangoon now. So it's like we ain't got no score like that, like that two guard that we needed that we was hoping for. So now it's like we just hoping that we could just making a miracle and keep winning these close game and winning these games to keep to stay in the 500 and try to make it to the play in or the playoffs because without Jalen, man, I don't even see without Jalen performing. If they don't make nobody to come up, they don't get nobody to come over there and and get rid of all that trash that we got like Jason Tate and Jock Landale. They don't get no veteran or they don't get nobody that can come help. Yeah, it's gonna be a rough one. It's gonna be up and down season again, man.
Yeah, that's facts, bro. That's facts. We got space in the house. I don't know which space. This space? There ain't Space Ghost, is it?
Yeah, it's me, bro.
Oh, okay, okay. What's good, man?
No, man, that's it.
Damn, you sound like you damn near about to touch the upper room, bro. Go.
Man, I appreciate you filling in for me, man.
Nah, no
Filling,
problem,
filling,
man.
love
How
the
you
brother, man.
feeling,
I'm gonna
man?
kick this thing, man. I'm gonna kick it. Kick it. Man, I gotta agree, man. I think we just really just got out talented, basically,
Mm.
from the starters. Like Tate give us a net zero in the starting lineup, and with Tar really being hurt, you know what I'm saying? Like it's really there's really nowhere else to turn to on a cool. So I know how Udoka is kind of caught in between a rock and a hard spot, but Stone didn't really do much to help facilitate the needs in his team. And Fred Van Vliet, I'm personally starting to like have a minor issues with him. I think he sets the table great, but when you don't have a guard, leading guard that can put pressure on the rim, and they can just like you said, just load up on the roll, man. And because even when he have open layups, man, he usually blow them. You just got to put a hand in his face, and he's gonna miss the layup, bro. He's like the worst finisher in the league statistically. And when you got that as a lead uh, guard, you, you see why they kind of stop, like kind of quintessential point guard is kind of dying down, bro. Because if you don't have that combo guard that can really make like great decisions with the ball, put rim pressure, skip passes, do all of that, your offense really become one dimensional unless you just got some killer shooting around. And you always, I think most every game we lost this year, we've been outshot at the 3 point line. And shooting is just something you just can't manufacture. You either got some guys that can do it, or you got guys that can't. And it's really a plethora of things when you start looking at it, bro. We don't have no room for error, like no room for error. And last time I was on the stream, I said even if we do end up miraculously getting into the playoffs, we're first round exit. Like we definitely a first round exit because everybody gonna be humming and every most of the teams that's gonna make it, they've been in that position before and they know how to up their level to a playoff atmosphere. We don't, and we don't have the basically the roster construction to even compete with some of these guys, man. So this I expected us to lose, but this was like one of the worst ways you can lose on the cool.
No, that's hella facts, and yeah, to me, the way we lost was we were helpless because it just, and that's why I wanted. I started off with the way I said, bro. It's like I know people don't understand the nuance of life. There's a lot of people that like to take extreme positions on stuff, and I would hope that you all would know. Like I'm seeing a dude. Let me see, talking about y'all think. Why do y'all think we should blow? Like who said we're blowing up the team? Like see, y'all like to take these extreme positions. You know what I mean? There's nothing about blowing up the team. Just listen to what I'm telling you. We have talented players that are not able to leverage their talent because the roster construction is terrible. So, in order for us to be able to perform at a level that highlights our players' talent, they have to play above their heads. Like they have to play at levels that are unsustainable in order for them to have a chance to win. Like Shangun got to average 30, 10, and 5 for us to like squeak by Detroit. You feel me? Or these teams. And I feel like it's a disservice to even to the coaches and to the players to not use the tools you have within your powers at this moment to try to make it that you can assess them the best you can. What I mean by that, you don't have to trade anybody in the core six, bro. We literally have players on our roster that are unplayable. Like they don't play. Like what does Boban do for us? You can go get a vet minimum player that you could bring in and actually play real minutes with in Boban's spot. I love Boban. Ain't nothing. This is not about Boban, but we are past that level, right? There's guys like Jock Landale. Obviously, we've talked about him ad nauseum. Tate should be the guy that you bring in like worst case scenario, or there's a matchup that you like on him. So these are the nuances I'm trying to get across to you guys, bro. Like, stop taking, and I hate when I interact with people on Twitter because it's like people are so stuck on their positions about stuff that they miss the nuance and stuff. Like, nobody is blowing up the team. Just listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying they got to win a championship, but there's not a either you are a tanking team or you're a champ. There's an in between that is important as well. And I try to tell y'all this during the rebuild when we were going through the process of tanking, that just because you're tanking doesn't mean that you just ignore everything. You still have to develop these kids because when you get to where you are right now, when you need Jalen Green, now it's biting you in the ass, right? When you need these guys, it's biting you now, right? You don't have that development that some of these OKC kids got, that some of these Orlando kids got. All that stuff, everything you do in this life is going to come at a cost. So I'm saying right now, I need to know how far these dudes can go with just a real regular NBA roster. Don't go trading for Zach LaVine. You don't have to do nothing extreme. Just go get a regular NBA roster with at least 8.5 NBA level players that can be on the court for more than 15 minutes without you holding your breath and just waiting and saying, damn, bro, damn, we made it. Man, okay. We only lost by 5 points when Londale was in. Like, that's what we got to do. I don't want to rely on the man Thompson. That dude is not ready. I don't want to rely on him right now. I don't want to rely on Cam Whitmore playing the two guard in front of Jalen. Damn sure can't do that. Like, so Stone as the general manager, y'all have to have standards, right? If you want to be a championship team, you have to win on the edges. All this, well, let's just wait. That's lazy, and that's gonna have you as one of these teams that's gonna be 3-4 years down the line still trying to make a playoff. The lead teams win on the edges. We are competing against Oklahoma City. That's what I'm looking at. So how do we get the edge on Sam Presti? When you look at their roster, they damn near got 12 dudes. How do we get that edge? So that's what I'm talking about. Like there's no like, oh, next year. As you're saying next year, there's new dogs coming up. Wolves might be a perennial contender. OKC, they gonna up it one next year. You got dudes coming up. Maybe Portland pops off with Sharp and Scoot. Like you can't. There's no waiting, man. You just got to go. When you see, I got to do this. All stars. Hey, let's go, man. Go get me a shooter. Let's see what we can do with this. Let's see what we got because I got to make decisions. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, bro.
Hey Frank, you know what really kind of like didn't make sense to me is
What's that?
like how we went from basically the fastest pace in the league to like the bottom, one of the bottom three paces in the league. And against a team like Timberwolves, you can't let them Giants set up. It should always been some type of movement. Like, come on, we gotta rush, we gotta move faster. We gotta. It wasn't like no urgency, no pace to hinder Rudy. You know, make him move his feet in transition and try to get more transition buckets. It was like bring it down. Like this is one thing about Fred Van Vliet that I kind of had was complaining about earlier that he's too safe of a player. You know what I'm saying? Like he's too safe. He want to be too safe, and I don't know if he care about his turnover to assist ratio like that. But bro, in certain games, you're gonna have to press the issue. You can't wait to these. Everybody on that team was like 6'9" and up, except for Conley. Like you can't let these Giants get set in the half court, and especially when you got Jay Sean Tate that they just ignored and they just let them roam. Like whoever had Tate, they was just roaming and clogging the paint. You know, and you gotta press the issue. That's one thing I kind of like didn't get about our game plan with Udoka. You know, and I know a lot of us we looked at Udoka like he a Hall of Fame coach, but Udoka got some issues he needs to work out as well as far as uh, game planning and being coached, like coaching the right way and the right style against certain teams.
Now that's facts. The pace thing, I don't. I think Fred, he misses a lot of like passes on cuts, on like lobs and things like that. Not sure what his thing is. I maybe that's just not his game. But I think as a team, like tonight, when they try to run in transition, they dribbling off their feet. It's a mixture of, to me, we don't have enough good ball handlers to run in transition, and also enough good passers, and the collective IQ of our players isn't where it be, where they're feeling correctly. It's kind of, then we got space. We got a lot of ball hogs, bro. How many times you didn't seen in transition? It'll be Tate, it'll be Jabari, Shangoon, or Aaron Holiday, for crying out loud. 1 on 4. You know what I mean? Like, and to me, that's stuff I bench a player for. Like, bro, we have to build good habits, because that
Yeah.
stuff hurts. And Udoka,
Holiday pisses me off like
he be,
every
bro. Don't get
game,
me
bro.
started on that
Like,
dude.
bro, what you think he prime MJ sometimes? Like,
That man think
bro,
he's
you is not
somebody, bro.
that dude, man. You is not that dude, man. Pass the
When
ball.
they had to. I don't know if you noticed when they were closing out one of the quarters. Coach had to tell him to get a ball to Amen Thompson. Coach Udoka like pointed like, bro, get a ball to him, because he had Cat on him. And you could tell Holiday was about to do his thing, and he had to tell the coach, had to tell you to pass it off. Like, that's sad. But yeah, I think Udoka, like, you people forget he's also a young, like, he's a second year coach basically, so he gonna have things he got to learn on the fly. And I think one of my biggest issues with him is that his lineup usage isn't, um he his like he'll I love how he adjusts at halftime, but a lot of times by then it's probably too late to see the game, and he lets stuff go a little bit long before he make a counter, and by then it's like late. But I still think that they have a lot of things that they could do, even with the players that we have right now. As limited as they are, the creativity on offense is lacking. The defense, it's a lot of little things that I'm starting to notice that they're not adjusting to. One of them is the pick and roll coverage of the big man rolling to the basket. They still aren't doing anything with that. When Shangoon is trying to play that drop, the big man get behind him. There's nobody on the back end to come down and tag and force that point guard to pass to the corner and hit those threes on us. And so that's something that teams are exploiting. Now, they did a better job tonight on it, but there was a play that, I don't know if you noticed, Space. Coach had to yell at Tate, and it wasn't on a pick and roll, but it was Jabari getting posted up. Shangoon came and rotated over to help him out, and then Tate was just standing there watching Rudy Gobert just standing under the basket. And Doka told him, "Bro, you got to come down, bro." Like, it's just little things like that.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I remember that play. Um, and usually when you go against big teams like this, you usually have a plethora of shooters that can be
Yes.
out there. So it's gonna draw them out, from in the paint. Since we lack in that, like they don't even, bro. They literally don't respect 3/4 of our guys shooting the three ball. Like you can just look at them. They just give us 5, 6 feet of space from the 3-point line, bro. They literally just packs the paint, and most teams does this. And every once in a while, we'll hit some threes where, we'll bring them out of it. But most of the time, teams are not paying attention to Tate,
Three,
uh,
3 or 4
even
guys.
even Dylan Brooks. Sometimes even Uh,
Jabari.
Jabari, they don't even pay attention to him because they haven't been consistent enough to hurt them, and that's just a problem when you actually trying to you know go go into the playoffs or be a playoff team. Because other teams are well constructed to where they gonna hurt you, man, if you ain't up even up in their grill. And what's so crazy, us as Rockets fans, we be watching, bro, and we'll close out and teams hit threes and we'll be surprised. Like, man, how you getting that? You know what I'm saying? Like, because them boys are real shooters. We don't have that on our team. So we hardly ever see us hitting threes in guys' faces, like closing out on. So that's one thing that like it really needs to get fixed before we even think about uh, you know, making any noise in the playoffs. If we make it to the playoffs, bro, we won and done. It's
Yeah, it's
crazy.
going, especially after like the third game with the team to learn our offense. You know what I mean? You know how the playoffs get, it bogged down. We ain't gonna be able to score. You know what I mean? It's gonna be ugly. And to your point, bro, you think about the teams that have players that are post hubs. All of them have those shooters that come flying off a screen, bro. Whether it's what's his name, Keegan Murray in Sacramento. I mean, Sacramento got Herder, they got Murray doing that. Then you got Denver got, so most now I want you to see space. Most of them got two guys that are movement shooters. That means they can run off ball screens, and as soon as they catch it, like the Klay Thompson thing, you got to go get it. So think about that, bro. You got Herder and Murray on one team in Sacramento, and then on Denver you got KCP and Michael Porter Jr. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
even on sack, they got Harrison Barnes. He can hit threes. You
Somebody that you got to
know,
respect. So
yeah,
you
like
think about that, bro, in the context of the two man game between the big and the guard. How much space and pressure they, and now you put the mix of a great big man, a great guard, you got them shooters around them, bro. Like it's do or die. Like you got to pick something. Like us is too easy to solve. That's what I was talking about with Shangoon. Like the stuff he doing, bro. The reason I know he good, bro, he doing it under duress. Like some they somebody was trying
yeah,
to like compare him to this dude is way a million times more offensively more talented than Sabonis because the type of shot Shangoon got to hit, those like pull up middies, one legged middies. He got to attack dudes in isolation, crossing the ball over, getting downhill, pump fakes. Like those are hard. Like he's taking a lot of tough shots because that's the type of attention that we are lacking on the perimeter. So it's going through bodies and gotta like, do some amazing stuff just to score a bucket. When you go watch other guys, it's like, oh damn, there go Jokic slipping behind you for a layup again. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So yeah,
Sengun,
bro, like
Sengun basically he out last year's Jalen because Jalen had to
facts.
do the
Exactly.
same
Tough
thing
shot.
last year. Tough shots, everything was tough because he was one of just pretty much the main person that was
Focus.
gonna
Yep.
win. You know what I'm saying? Like if we was gonna win, Jalen was gonna have to drop 30, 40. And this year is like Shangoon getting that same treatment, and he's still balling. Just imagine if this dude only had to go. He was cooking Gobert. Just
He
imagine if
was.
Gobert had to deal with him just straight up 1-on-one because they can't help off of Tate or they can't help off of Jabari or any of our guys like that. Sengun would probably have 40. Just cooking Gobert.
Think of the foul trouble a lot of these dudes, and then he gonna pass it because then you got to pick. Okay, we gonna trap him. Now you got Michael Porter Jr. hitting 10 threes on you, like he would do against us. You know what I mean? I'm just saying the player's name that's a shooter. So, like, who's out there, bro? The King said that Herder is available. I'd take a fly on him, man. I know he be inconsistent, but at least the threat of
I
somebody
mean, if
like
if,
that.
if, if we don't have Dylan Brooks or Tari playing to cover for that one weak link dude like Herder would be defensively, then I don't think it's gonna really matter. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna have to have our defensive guys stud up, be ready to cover, rotate. Uh, which you don't mind doing because that's they calling card. So we definitely gonna need some shooters on there, and you supplement shooting a little bit, for that defense because three always better than two. So if you can get a 38, 37% guy shooting that three ball, you can keep up with most teams, and then when the crunch time comes, you put your lockdown players in there to bring you home. But as long as we behind the eight ball on shooting threes, man, it's just gonna be games like this.
One
Yeah,
thing,
go ahead, bro.
one thing. You know what I noticed? They make it. Our team really make our team make Shangoon job hard. They making his job hard because now we ain't got no shooters. It's like he got to try to debo his way into the. He can't even finesse no more because now they packing up the paint. So now he gotta like drive like forcefully to the. That's why he missing a lot of layers because he tired and he got to drive hard to try to score. You know what I'm saying? Because we ain't got no shooters. So Gobert and Cat was they made it hard for him because ain't no shooters out there. So every time he drive, it's all packed up. So every shot he make is difficult. If he make it, or it's gonna be a miss because when they big, they make him work for his money because ain't no shooters. So they gonna collapse that paint, and they gonna help out because they know Shangoon. It's easy money for him when you paying him 1-on-1. It's easy money for him, whoever holding them. But other than that, yeah, that's what I want to say. They kind of been making his job hard lately. He been trying hard, and it is affecting him when he missing his little close little layups and his little one-legged shots. He be tired. That's why he was missing them little shots today because he kind of was like tired.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna say this last piece, and then I gotta go jump off. Even if we can get like a stretch five to where the opposing team got to take their big lumbering guys either out the paint or put them on the bench because a guy like Kelly Olynyk that we had a few years back, the dude can shoot threes. And he kind of made Christian Wood job even easy because he only had to go one on ones. Like they hardly was able to double people because Olenek was on the floor with him. And we seen him and Shangoon get a little rapport a little bit while he was there too. And so if you can try to get shooting out of your big, that'll kind of eliminate some of the traffic in the paint, you know. But I think we still do need a defensive big. But if you can't get that defensive big, at least get a big that can shoot, and then you can play him and Shangoon together. You know what I'm saying? But man, appreciate you, Frank. Man, CSG, your boy be back straight. Hopefully, I'm gonna do one. I'm gonna do one next game, no matter what. But I'm gonna holler at y'all, man. We all we got, fam.
All right, bro. Get some rest, man. Get some rest. Appreciate you, man. Shout out to Space. Nah, he definitely right, and ringleader, what you said, bro. Yeah, it does really make it hard to really, not even for him, for Fred as well. Hell, for Jalen's driving lanes. You just notice every time our guys get in the paint, it's like three or four people there, waiting for them, and I mean, having Dylan out there definitely helps because he's one of our better shooters this season, and I think a lot of it is because teams aren't respecting him, and so he's having some of the easier shots that he's probably had in his career here, especially with the attention that Shangoon garners in the post. It's not a to me, it's not a coincidence that Fred and Dylan are having one of their most efficient seasons in their careers playing next to Alperen Shangoon. He's, I mean, they're all elevating each other. You feel me? And it's not a coincidence. Jabari is being efficient as well, and all of this is because you've hit check box one of offensive gravity is having a player that draws two people. So now check box two is punishing that. We still haven't leveraged that yet, and that's all I'm asking for. And you don't need to trade the farm to do that. You don't need to blow up the team. You don't need to trade a man or Cam. Just go out there and get you some competent NBA shooters, some NBA players, some guys that can hit a wide open shot. and then you can start getting a little more exotic with the packages you have off the bench. We still haven't explored lineups that are exclusively Alperen Şengün, like go eat lineups. There's a hierarchy issue in our team because we're still experimenting with different players trying to get comfortable, whether it's Jabari or Jalen. Sometimes one of the vets starts having different issues going on that they feel like they need to get their game on. Um, you guys know what I say about being a team that is disciplined enough to spam what you know is good. We don't do that enough, and I dislike that. But I understand it because the Rockets aren't where they need to be right now. They're still figuring stuff out, so you understand why they're doing it. I just think that if they're trying to win certain games, you got to know where your bread is buttered and go there, right? We have to be disciplined enough as a team to know if like Jabari post ups are working, keep posting up Jabari. If it's not, don't do it, right? If Şengün pick and roll with Fred is the thing that's killing the team, do that 100 times till they stop it. And then when they try to counter it, you counter off of that. But it seems like too many games, we'll have something that's good, then we'll stop. And one of our players goes on hero ball, or we'll be doing something real good, then a different lineup comes in and a guy thinks he has to get it off and start shooting. So we just have to be more consistent, but they're going to figure all this out as time goes on. They need to figure all this out. I think that they have a chance to make the playoffs with the way the Warriors, the Lakers, like this is a golden opportunity for the Rockets to be able to capitalize on the struggles of other teams. And back to what CJ Stroud said, there's no next year, bro. There's no next year. You got to do it now. Like go now. Like go now. We don't just waste times. There's no wasted seasons because all it takes is that one playoff run to kick it off. You know what I mean? All it takes is that one loss for the Golden State Warriors to lose to Memphis in the first round of their first playoff series after being one of the worst teams for damn near 20 years. All it took was that one playoff series for them to lose to the Grizzlies to go win the chip next year. It happens just like that in the NBA. All it takes is a taste of it. A team like OKC to get a play-in taste to be a top 2 seed in the West. This stuff matters. Ain't no next year, 2-3 years from now. All it takes, so they have to give these dudes the opportunity to see that level of hoops, to play at that level, just so they could taste it. That'll change everybody's approach going forward. Once you get them kids in a playoff series or even a play-in series where if they win a play-in game or whatever it is, once they get a taste of it, watch how they come in this summer. You don't think they want to go back? You think you're going to go in the playoffs and want to come back the next year and be a tanking team, a team that's in the lottery? That stuff changes. It changes your DNA. Your workouts are better. Your outlook for the summer. You planning differently. You moving. They might just get off the court and go straight to the gym. So we gotta. I don't like the. Oh yeah, we're just gonna wait. Nah, ain't no waiting, bro. Go get us some players, man. Stop playing around. Stop playing around. I do not want to see Jock Landale on the court anymore. I do not want to see Jayshawn Tate in my starting lineup anymore. You feel me? I do not want to see Aaron Holiday closing games out. That dude is a great player for us this season, but his Cinderella story is definitely run out, right? Just scale him back. We just have to see where Phil Stone has to do. This is Stone's turn to show us what he's learned from the rebuild. There's 5 weeks till the deadline? 4 or 5 weeks, whatever, however long it is. Let's see. The games begin. We don't have to wait till the last day now while all these moves are being made. We don't have to wait till the last day like we've done in previous years to be rushing to try to get a player in here before the ninth hour, whatever it is, and fail to get the trade through. Be smart, be diligent, be intentional about the moves you're going to make. You know what I mean? Put in the work and build a real roster that complements the skills of the players you value. That is not too much to ask. And there's no time we don't have to wait till next year to do that. But with that, man, I'm going to close this out, man. Appreciate y'all, boys. We have a game tomorrow against the Bucks. I think Space said, God willing, he'll be healthy enough to be able to do it. And then we'll see how we do. I'm going to give y'all my prediction right now. Let's see. Against the Bucks, back to back. I think unless Dylan and Tari both come back, I think this is going to be another L. They pose the same challenges and even worse because they have a dynamic guard in Dame. We still haven't shown an affinity to guard the pick and roll. So I ain't gonna lie to y'all, bro. We're gonna be right back at 500, which is, you know what I mean, it's cool. We got to get healthy and we got to call in some reinforcements. Once we do, I think I'm still stick to what I said to y'all before. I'm gonna stick to what I said to y'all before. After the All-Star break, the team is gonna go on a run. They got to run in them. It's going to take them into that kind of that play and playoff mode. They got to run in them, and I think some of the young guys are going to play better after the. Everything is going to kind of click because that little second win they get during that time is very very important. So, but yeah, y'all get ready for the game tomorrow. It's going to be it's going to be a doozy, but we'll see. We'll see. Somebody say Dame dropping 40. Wouldn't put it past him. I'm not going to hold you. He's been struggling too. He might be looking at Houston after dropping 70 last year and say, let me get right with them. But if DB and Tari ain't back, bro, yeah, man, it's going to be a Kuna Matata for Dame and Giannis and them. It's going to be a Kuna Matata. It means no worries for the rest of your games. But appreciate y'all, man. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. Keep rocking with the channel, and we're going to keep pumping out premium basketball hoops. Good night to y'all, and see y'all on the flip side.